Hey everybody, welcome back. Where today we are talking about Series 1, but it's kind of like a more general like VGC video for Scarlet and Violet because I want to talk about Dark-type Pokemon and why they kind of feel like the best Pokemon in the format right now. Or at least like the typing as a whole is so good right now that like you on most teams you're seeing like 2 or 3 Dark-type Pokemon. And it's for offensive reasons, it's for defensive reasons. There's a lot of stuff going into it. So if you've been wondering why there's so many Dark-type Pokemon in every team, let me go ahead and help you understand what's going on here. So the first thing that we need to look at is we're going to go to Pikalytics, right? And we're going to look at the highest Pokemon in usage in VGC Series 1, right? That's what we're looking at right now. The two of the basically the best team compositions right now are Goldengo, Murkrow, and Armarouge and Didi. Well, both of those team compositions are weak to Dark. And if you have a good Dark-type Pokemon, you can just beat them really easily. So the like expanding force spam almost demands you to have like 2 Dark types on your team so you can be safe and switch in and like not die. Likewise, one of the easiest ways to hit Goldengo is with Dark-type stuff. And a lot of these Dark-type Pokemon, they'll run like coverage moves to hit it on the Steel-type size as well. So like, Hydreigon is a really popular Pokemon right now. It's usually like Terra Fire or Terra Steel, and if they go Terra Fire, they can run Heat Wave, and they can either Terra Fire to Heat Wave get rid of Goldengo, or they can stay Dark-type to get rid of Armarouge. Because the Hydreigon really doesn't appreciate taking the Make It Rain, so they kind of have to Terastallize a different type, which is weird, but they still get Stab on Dark-type moves, which is really, really important. And then you'll notice here that Murkrow is the other half of this Goldengo combination. Murkrow is Dark-type. Like, these two Pokemon don't have any weaknesses in common. And Murkrow is just a really good Prankster Pokemon. Same thing with Grimmsnarl, just a really good Prankster Pokemon. And they just so happen to be Dark. But the fact that they are Dark-type Pokemon actually helps them out quite a bit here. And if we're looking through here, we'll see Meowscarada is up here as well. We have King Gambit, still pretty high in usage. That's pretty much where they drop off because that's almost all of the fully evolved Dark-type Pokemon that are in the game. We're really only missing like Weavile, Lokix, and like Houndoom. There really aren't that many Dark-type Pokemon in the game that we can use right now, but they're some of the best Pokemon. Let's talk about some of them specifically, say what they do. So Hydreigon is one of the best ones. It's on a lot of teams. I run into Hydreigon like probably every other team on the ladder right now. And what Hydreigon can do is it's Dark-type, so it can deal with Armarouge really, really easily. And it resists both of Armarouge's stabs typing, and even if they're like Terra Grass, you resist that too. You can also be Terra Fire, and you get Heat Wave. And what else does it get? Well, it gets Tailwind, and I've seen quite a bit of Tailwind Hydreigons on the ladder, where you just like Terra Fire, match Tailwinds with the Murkrow, and then you can destroy their Goldengo. It's pretty interesting. But it also gets Snarl, which is really relevant, so you don't have to worry about like Follow Me stuff. You can hit them around the Follow Me. It's just a really solid mon right now. Draco Meteor coming off of Hydreigon's 125 base special attack hits like a truck, and it's really scary. Murkrow is the next Dark-type Pokemon that I want to talk about here. It has Prankster, which is really, really good. It sets Prankster Tailwind. It's pretty much the only Prankster Tailwind setter. I mean, obviously, we have Talonflame, but why run Talonflame when you can run Murkrow, who not only sets your Tailwind, but has Haze to deal with Tetsugiri Dondozo. It has Foul Play, so you don't have to run any attack investment. Your opponents will hit themselves. It gets Perish Song, which can be interesting. It gets Whirlwind to make things switch out. It gets Taunt. I've seen a lot of Brave Bird Murkrow, which feels really weird to me, but whatever. It gets Icy Wind for even more speed control. Yeah, it's just a really solid Pokemon. Next up, we have Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl is the other premier Prankster Pokemon in the format. It gets screens, right? We can run screens. We get Sucker Punch, which is really neat. We have a pretty high attack stat, so Sucker Punching into Goldengo is something that you can definitely do. It gets Fake Out. It gets Thunder Wave. What doesn't Grimmsnarl get? It gets Parting Shot. Grimmsnarl just gets everything that it needs, and it's actually not as good now as it was last gen, I feel like. Just because there are so many Dark-type Pokemon in the format. And that's something that I haven't talked about yet, is these two very powerful Prankster Pokemon. I mean, obviously, Murkrow doesn't run a whole lot of moves that target the opponent, so it's really not that relevant a lot of the time. But especially for, like, Grimmsnarl and, like, the occasional Sableye that you see, Dark is immune to Prankster moves. So we have a lot of really potent Prankster Pokemon. And, like, the reason that you never see Murkrow running Quash, like, it can run Prankster Quash, which sounds like it should be stupid broken, but there's so many Dark-type Pokemon in every team that it really just isn't relevant a lot of the time. Like, a lot of the people that are in front of your Goldengo, they're going to lead Hydreigon, and you can't Quash Hydreigon. I mean, you could call that they're going to Terrastalize, but normally you can't Quash Hydreigon, you can't Quash, you know, King Gambit, Meowscarada. So, like, there's so many Dark-type Pokemon on every team that Murkrow isn't even running one of its most powerful tools, which I think is really, really funny. But yeah, the next Pokemon here is King Gambit. King Gambit is a stupid strong Pokemon. It's literally Bisharp, but better. Usually they run Defiant, so you're immune to Intimidate. You saw how high up Arcanine is here in usage. It's right here. Like, it's in the top 10, which is pretty relevant. King Gambit's not immune to Intimidate, but you'll get an attack boost at the end of the whole transaction instead of getting an attack drop. It has this really strong Dark-type move, Kowtow Cleave. It doesn't check accuracy, which is not really a relevant effect, but it's 85 base power, which is basically the strongest Dark-type move physical Dark-type move you can learn. It gets Sucker Punch. It has Steel coverage for the occasional Fairy type that you see. Like, there's so many Dark-type Pokemon, you'd think Fairy would be good, but no, like, Hydreigon just Terrastalizes to get rid of its Fairy weakness. King Gambit's already not weak to Fairy, and it can just become pure Steel type. Or Terra Fire has been really, really picking up, and I think it's because it helps you deal with Armarouge and Goldengo, like, at the same time, which is really interesting to think about. It's pretty much the only typing that resists Steel and Fire, so that's something to keep in mind for if you're having a hard time. Yeah, but King Gambit just hits really hard, and it has a lot of really good moves, and, like, you don't even see it on Trick. Like, it has 50 base speed. You don't even see it on Trick Room teams. It's such a good Pokemon. It just kind of stands on its own here. It's really bulky, and it's just a good mon, and it's Dark type. The last one here that is kind of like the most relevant is Meowscarada. Meowscarada's on a lot of teams, and Meowscarada does a lot of things. It deals with Goldengo pretty well as long as you can, like, match Tailwinds or, like, get the speed type upper hand. Does it get Sucker Punch? I always think it gets Sucker Punch. It does, but nobody runs Sucker Punch. That's so interesting, because it also gets knockoffs. You'll usually see knockoff Flower Trick. And one of the reasons that Meowscarada is so prevalent is because Flower Trick crits every single time you click it. It's literally Wicked Blow, but a little bit less strong and Grass type. It also doesn't check accuracy, which is pretty relevant. Or at least it could be in the future. But Flower Trick deals with Dondozo. If that Dondozo doesn't have a Terra type that's, like, resists grass, they're done. That's it. They're 2-hit KO. They're dead. Like, there's nothing they can do about it. And, like, usually it's Terra Grass, Meowscarada, but just, it's partially because Dark types are positioned to do a lot of things in the format, because, like, Goldengo and Armarouge and Annihilate with Rage Fist, I guess you could make an argument for, are some of the best Pokemon in the format. But also just the Dark type Pokemon we have are also just really, really good Dark type Pokemon. Like I said, almost every Dark type Pokemon that we have access to right now is a good Pokemon. Like, obviously, like, Bombardier's, it's whatever. Like, you can do stuff with it, but it's not great. Cacturn is Cacturn, you know. But really, the only like fully evolved Pokemon are using Honchkrow or Houndoom, Crocodile, which is still okay. Like, you can use Crocodile, it's fine. Mabostiff is still a good Pokemon. It's just something else is filling its niche. Lokix was so good because not only did it hit the Goldengos and the Armarouges for weakness, it hit all the Dark-type Pokemon for weakness. And that's why that Lokix team that I made works so well, just because all those Dark-type Pokemon, they're not going to think, oh, let me Terrastalize in front of this Lokix. No, they're going to eat the first impression and die. Like, and this just, for me, this is kind of like cements, like, Dark types. Dark is one of the most important types of the format right now. Lokix was good because it was both a Dark-type Pokemon and it hit Dark-type Pokemon for weakness. So, like, I don't know. Maybe if you're having a problem with all the Dark-type Pokemon, run yourself a Lokix. Like, first impression the crap out of them. Other Pokemon that are legal aren't using, like, Spiritom's fine. Skuntank is Skuntank. I mean, I've used it before, but it's probably not doing the most. But Weavile's a good Pokemon. You can make an argument for using Weavile. Tyranitar, I didn't even talk about Tyranitar. Tyranitar is a good Pokemon right now. Partially because it's dark type and like you can leverage that to deal with Armor Rouge and stuff. But you can with Sandstream, if you go Terra Rock and you Rock Slide things, they take so much damage. And it's good like partially because it's a dark type, but it usually drops the dark typing when it terastallizes. So it just so happens to be a dark type Pokemon that is really good and really relevant in the format. And that's kind of like, some of these exist to counter Goldenko Armor Rouge, like Hydreigon, like really just Hydreigon is the hard counter of both of those, but it's also just really good in its own right. So it's not 100, I mean, it's partially we're countering these things. It's a lot like we just have a lot of really good dark type Pokemon, and you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not using them. And honestly, before we knew what the VGC Series 1 rules were, and we were using all of the legendaries and all of that stuff, I need you to look, because like half of the Pokemon that we're not allowed to use right now are also dark type Pokemon that you're gonna see on like every team. Not half, but like a good chunk of them, because we have Brute Bonnet. Brute Bonnet's great. Brute Bonnet is like Amoonguss, but it has hands. You know, like it hits so hard and it gets Sucker Punch, which is just really relevant, and it's an insane Pokemon. We have all 4 of the Pokemon of Ruin. Let's look here. Let's just type in Ruination. All 4 of these Pokemon are good. All 4 of them are good. Chien-Pao and Chi-Yu, when they're allowed, they're going to be on every single team. Not both of them, probably just one of them, but Chien-Pao lowers the defense of every Pokemon around it just by being on the field. Chi-Yu does the same thing for special defense just by being on the field. Ting-Lu, Wo-Chien, they lower offensive stats, which can be really relevant. It means they're really bulky, like linchpin Pokemon. Look at Ting-Lu's stats. It has 155 base HP, 125 defense, and it lowers the special attack of all of their Pokemon. You throw an Assault Vest on this thing, and it's impossible to get rid of, and it can terastallize so that you can't even hit it for weakness anymore. Like, dark types are some of the most important Pokemon in the format right now, and they're going to continue to be some of the most important Pokemon in the format. And if you don't have some kind of way to deal with all these strong dark type Pokemon, and like fighting might not even cut it. Fighting coverage might not even cut it. Who knows? But this is, I mean, you could say this is one of the reasons why Annihilate is so high in usage. It deals with these dark type Pokemon. It just bulks up, like it doesn't really care about them, and then it drain punches and gets so much HP back. And that's really, I mean, there's really nothing here that counters all these dark type Pokemon. Maybe you could make an argument for Flamigo, but it really only exists on like setup teams, you know? Just, and then we're not even done. We're not even done, because we still have Iron Jugulus, which is a really good dark type Pokemon. It's dark and flying. It's pretty much gonna like replace Hydreigon when we have access to it. We have, where is it? Where's Roaring Moon? Roaring Moon is another like really good Paradox Pokemon. So I don't know what it is, but it's just the way the Pokemon that they gave us have made dark type Pokemon so important in the format, for like countering reasons, and also just a lot of the really good Pokemon just so happen to be dark type. And this is something you need to consider when you're building your teams. If you have a lot of dark type weaknesses on your team, maybe take a second and think again about it. I was trying to use like Choice Band Grimmsnarl with like Sucker Punch and Spirit Break, like 3 attacking moves and Parting Shot. And I just found that I was never able to click Parting Shot because everything in front of me was always either a dark type or Goldengo, and they're all immune, or Clear Amulet. Like they gave Parting Shot to Grimmsnarl and it doesn't feel broken because so many things are immune to Prankster Parting Shot right now. Goldengo's immune to it, all these dark types are immune to it, anything holding a Clear Amulet is immune to it, and then you don't get to switch out and you did nothing. And especially if, you know, you're me and you're stupid and you're running Choice Band Grimmsnarl, I don't know. Maybe I'm ranting too much. If I'm ranting too much, feel free to let me know. But just when you're team building, if you have a lot of Pokemon that are weak to dark, or a lot of Pokemon that are weak to fire, because you know, maybe I'll make a video about fire Pokemon, because they kind of are occupying a same kind of niche here. Rethink your team composition, because you're not going to get very far if your whole team is weak to dark. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you think that dark is probably the most important type of Pokemon right now? Let me know down in the comments. And if you liked the video, guys, leave me a big fat like. And go ahead and subscribe. We're going to be doing more competitive content here almost every day, as often as I can. Every once in a while I'll miss a day, but I'm going to try my best to bring it to you almost every day. If you want to see that, go ahead and subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 by Christmas. At the time of this recording, we only need 40 more. That's 40 people. That feels like such a small number compared to like how many people are already subscribed. So if you're not subscribed and you watch my content, stick around for a little while. We're going to be doing some crazy stuff here. And with that, everybody, my name is Andrew. I'll catch you guys next time.